Manchester United have had just over a month of new head coach Ruben Amorim, and he started in a very Manchester United way. A draw against Ipswich, but then a 3-2 win in the Europa, a big Premier League win, a loss against Arsenal, losing at home against Forest, winning in the Europa League, winning the Manchester Derby, but then getting knocked out of the Carabao Cup to Spurs. What's going to happen on Sunday? Should we just spin a roulette wheel? Because that's what it feels like with Manchester United at the moment. Welcome, this is the Big Match Preview. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Gordon.
We are back in the net. We're an AFC Bournemouth fan channel. If you're new here, if you're a Man United fan, you might want to look away now, because what we do is we show what happened in the last fixture. Tom, it was a good day.
One bad.
Come on. Oh my God! You've got to say, there are some real stoic fans there, still singing away. At some point, it's going to be yellow and green scarves, so surely. Oh, Solanke loves a goal against Manchester United, right? Tom, what a day that was. And look, we saw a disallowed goal from Ouattara, but I completely forgot about the first one, albeit it wasn't VAR, it was an offside. Who scored it?
Tavernier, I believe. Yeah, just after Solanke's goal, wasn't it? So yeah, we won 3-0 at Old Trafford, and we could have won 5. Yeah, it was a mad one. We certainly didn't expect that. And weirdly, even our home fixture against them, which was a 2-2, I think we had 20 shots in that. We were even more dominant in that game. So yeah, after most years, Man U always having the better of us. Last year was definitely different, mate. And last year we played them in December and April, and it's the same again this time round.
It feels like that was one of the big statement wins for AFC Bournemouth in our history, but really the team that we were playing, on the pitch at least, wasn't that great. But I suppose it's a statement result, and it was the most amount of people ever to have witnessed an AFC Bournemouth win in the flesh. I think the previous was, I can't remember where it was, Spurs, actually, the season previous, with Gary O'Neill, of course, masterminding that one. But yeah, this season, have we blown that result out of the water with some of our wins, maybe?
Maybe, I know it's weird, but I think it always feels a little bit more of a statement when it's on the road at a big club. So obviously we've beaten Man City and we've beaten Arsenal, but they were both at home. Tottenham, big club, but we've had some good wins, but they've all been at home. So I think the fact that it was on the road and at Old Trafford and it was 3-0, it was just everything about it felt like one of our best. So it's definitely up there.
And that win, as you say, was in December, pre-Christmas, and it was amid a run of 4 wins in a row. And look, we're in a similar place form-wise now, albeit we only got a point in the last match, but we are unbeaten in 4. We're in a fairly similar place form-wise, aren't we? Things feel pretty good, and we're going into this game actually thinking we could get something.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think the way both teams play, obviously it might be a little bit different now because of Amorim coming in, see how much he's managed to get into the group, but it seems to suit us, and you saw that last season, that Iraola's football, because obviously Iraola's played Man United twice as Bournemouth manager, and he's absolutely battered them both times. So his style definitely helps us, but you know, it's a different manager for them, they'll play differently, so it might be tighter, but yeah, I'm very confident.
So what of Manchester United's fans' thoughts at the start of the season? As ever, we like to put in a little bit of a sequence from a fan who wanted to make his prediction about where Bournemouth would finish at the start of the season. We got Dan from United First, who also spoke about how much he admired us for sticking with Iraola when it was tricky during the first part of his tenure.
And we spoke off camera. I have a little soft spot for Bournemouth. I love teams that come into our league, into the Premier League. With that, it's us against them sort of mentality. And I really like Bournemouth, and actually I was so pleased at midway through last season when you'd stuck with your manager and when you'd given him that time, because managers need to come into this league, like we spoke about Ten Hag, and they need to adapt, and they need to realise things that worked for him before isn't going to work. So I think he's adapted really well. Bournemouth, I think you're a really well run club. I really do, and I think last season, as we spoke, I think you should have beat us in that game. There was some decisions referee wise that unfortunately I think went against you, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Bournemouth pushing for that top 10. I wouldn't.
So Dan said that we could finish 10th. It's nice of him to acknowledge that game that you were alluding to, that 2-2 at Dean Court. And look, we stuck with our man. They didn't stick with theirs, and they did pull the trigger earlier this season. We said it so many times, we never knew what they were under Ten Hag, did we? Didn't have a clue.
Didn't have a clue. And you were watching them against teams that had managers that had been in there 5 minutes, and you could see an identity. And with Ten Hag, I never knew how Man United played, really. It wasn't good. I think there's a lot more to it. The recruitment wasn't very good, in my opinion. Because again, you're looking at Amorim and saying, he's a good coach, but he needs new players. Well, how many times do they need new players? They spend a fortune on them. But it didn't work. And to be fair to him, I think they gave him a lot longer than a lot of people thought.
But he'll probably argue and say that, well, I won 2 trophies in my 2 years there, which is very Scott Parker-ish thing to say, or maybe even Gary O'Neill, sort of stating the facts somewhat.
Yeah, no, definitely. And he did. That's obviously very factual. But you can win the odd game when you've got the amount of talent they've got on the pitch. You can win the odd game in a cup final, which they managed to do quite impressively. But overall, it wasn't good from him. And they never looked like they were getting any better. No, they really didn't. But it's just mental that it's still... We're waiting for him to replace Fergie. That just seems bonkers.
Well, you're right. So Ruben now is the 7th manager on a permanent basis since Alex Ferguson. Of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was at the Wolves game when they lost to Ipswich. We were all thinking, is he going to be in next? He was manager from December 2018 to November 2021 and had the longest stint since Sir Alex. But the Portuguese man is now in. And we'll talk about his results so far. I briefly alluded to them at the start of the show, but it just feels a bit same as. But look, maybe there's an argument that we can see more of an identity now than we probably could have ever saw under Ten Hag. But previously he was at Sporting Lisbon, where he had a pretty successful spell there over his 4 years. Iraola, in his presser today, even said that he believes that Man United over the last month have a clearer identity than what they had previously. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I probably agree with that. They've gone straight into the system that he likes with a back three. And you can see little patterns that you think, okay, that's how he wants him to play. He's not going to be able to get that in overnight. And he probably would be honest and say, I haven't got all the players I want, because he's only just come through the door, hadn't had a transfer window. But you can see little patterns already, I think. So, and that'll take a bit of adjustment time. So in a weird way, yes, I would have definitely preferred to have played a Man United side under Ten Hag. But equally, I'm glad we're playing them just before they maybe got into a proper rhythm or rhythm, as Iraola would say, of how they want to play now. But and equally, it will remains to be seen. But playing them after they've just had quite a intense game in the cup might do us some good as well. So, before the season began, all eyes were on the transfer activity that Ten Hag would be masterminding. Of course, we know that Dan Ashworth went to Manchester United from Newcastle, hand-picked, and he's gone. He's gone, yeah. It's all changed.
He was there for 5 months, wasn't he?
Yeah, something like that. Very strange. Very strange. But it looked like a bit of a coup, but he's gone already. But they made some, as they always do, I just feel like they always overpay. And I don't know if that's because they're Man United, so other clubs, the selling club, thinks they'll get more out of them. They're so desperate. But Xerxes looks like he could be a player. But he's still kind of a backup, and he was over 40 million quid. Yoro is a tough one to call because he's had injury problems, but he's just coming into the team, looks like he could be decent. They paid a lot of money for him, it was over 60 mil. Ugarte looks pretty solid. He works hard, he's 50 million. Did think he should be a bit better for that. I actually think Mazraoui for people less than 20 is not bad. I think he's pretty good. But De Ligt was over 40. He looks decent, but he's had his injury problems as well. So they've got players that he might get the best out of, to be fair. But they've already let players go that were bought in not long ago. So obviously Van der Beek never worked. They obviously let Greenwood go, fair play, won't talk about that too much. They let Van Bissaka go, who again, it didn't really work for Man U, but then I think he's really good for West Ham.
Yeah.
And you look at it now and go, he'd be quite good for Man U. I don't really understand why it didn't work. But yeah, and McTominay obviously got his move to Napoli. And then I still can't get my head around that it's McTominay and Gilmour in the middle for Napoli. But he went, and obviously the Sancho situation means he's at Chelsea. So yeah, he'll do some more stuff. But I think they'll be looking for him to get the best out of some of them players. At least players like Xerxes and that are still at a good age.
Feels like they're not exactly household names, are they?
No,
I think
not so.
they need to prove themselves, and usually you expect Manchester United to be having some household names. I mean, I'm looking at a sort of midfield four that could potentially be playing at the weekend and thinking, really, a year ago I didn't really know many of these, or a couple of years ago.
But maybe they would say that they're trying to get away from that because
they're building a project.
Yeah, and you look at was Casemiro, they bought him in for ridiculous wages and stuff, and you think, well, and everyone knew who he was, and it hasn't quite worked. Maybe go against that a little bit. But yeah, there's a few players in there that I think will get good, but at the moment, they're not quite there yet. We've already seen quite quickly Diallo, for example, Amad Diallo looks unbelievable in the system, so he'll get the best out of some players. It's just he'll probably have to clear a few Deadwood out as well.
As you can see, we are at the QP, but it's not just me and Tom. It's this big guy here. Look at that guy. What a beauty. He's going to be emptying his sack on the night of 24th of December, hopefully delivering some goods to wherever you are. Have you got any Christmas wishes or any presents that you want, mate? Or is it as simple
you know what it is.
3 points?
Yeah, you know what it is, mate. That's it. And it happened. That's what I said this time last year, pretty much, and it worked.
So, look, we've got a home fixture, of course, on Boxing Day, by which time you'll be absolutely stuffed with roast turkey, I am sure, if you're celebrating, of course. And this place opens from 12 o'clock on match day for Crystal Palace, so make sure you get here for lots of merriment before the game. There's going to be no raffle for this one, but make sure you come here anyway, because it would be great to get you along, because hopefully we're going to be celebrating 3 points. And look, if you're brand new to the channel, there's a couple of things you can do to help us out, right?
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you click that like button. That's always appreciated. If you click the bell, it will tell you when all the stuff's out. And yeah, hit the subscribe button, because then you'll be helping us and we'll be really thankful.
Yeah, look, we've got a fan reaction that's going to be coming out after the game, but our Christmas schedule, because it's Christmas, is going to be somewhat all over the place. So what you can do is follow our socials, because we'll keep you abreast of the shows that we release. We may be doubling our vlog after the Palace game and just including a little bit of footage from United, but we are going to try to chill out somewhat. But of course, make sure if you're on the Telegram, which is a great place to be, just go to afcbpodcast.com/coffee. We'll get you on the group, and that's to anyone that donates monthly. Just we're repaying your commitment of donating monthly from as little as £3 with regular updates, behind the scenes stuff, and a lot more besides. We'll be communicating on that over the festive period, I'm sure. So we haven't checked out the league table, shall we? I think we should. Shall we? Let's do it. 6th in the league, Tom. Hello. Yeah, so it's a bit boring to even look at now, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's all right. No, it's 6th, not too bad. It is mad. It is very, very close. No, I look at it now and go, oh, there's only a few points separating us and Man United, and they're 13th. So it can change very quickly, mate. Yeah,
we could go up to 4th, obviously, depending on other results.
Yeah.
But it is pretty reading at the moment. But it just shows that consistency is absolutely key if we want to keep in the top 10.
Yes.
Can we finish top 10? Dan from United First thinks we can. I've got another table to show you, and you know what? It's not the baseline tracker. It's the league table that shows you every single match since Andoni Iraola won his first game for AFC.
Oh, okay.
And can you remember which one that was?
Burnley.
Correct.
Yep.
We won 2-1 at home. So since that, if you collated all the Premier League results, have a look at this. Bournemouth are 6th.
Ooh, lovely.
That's a beautiful place to be, having played 43. So this is between, like you say, the Burnley game, 28th of October 2023, 19th of December 2024. That's healthy reading, mate, isn't it?
It's very nice. Yeah, because I think from a ball perspective, it obviously proves that when we felt like we got used to a system and we adapted and we adjusted, right, there hasn't been too many blips since. That's what it shows. The blip was literally when he first walked through the door. So yeah, that's pretty impressive, mate. 6th. So we're 6th and everything. Would you take that at the end of the season? Not bad, is it?
Yeah, not bad. I've got an interesting little stat for you with regards to the proper league table. If Man United fail to win at the weekend, it'll be the first time they've been in the bottom half of the table at Christmas since 1989.
Since before I was born.
Yeah, so 89-90 season, which is absolutely mad. And then they were 12th. So we'll check out their results since the new gaffer was in charge. Now, of course, we know that Rude's last match was the 3-0 win over Leicester, the team he eventually went on to manage. That was a 3-0 win, but then the main man's in charge. Look, I think his first official day was 11th of November, so we had a couple of weeks with a team that some of which would have been on international duty, if not all of them. And Portman Road, I mean, a tough place to go, Tom. Well, I mean, we got 3 points. Did Man United? They must have, right?
Nah, they drew that one, but it was a weird one because I think Ipswich are that team that can skank the odd point here and there, and they probably deserve to. So, yeah, this is his first game, gets a point on the road. Yeah, it's not ideal because they're Man United, but kick off from there, and then the Bodo Glimt one, it looked dodgy, it looked like typical Man U, but they did get the result.
Yeah,
and then smashing Everton. I know a lot of teams can smash Everton, but you still got to do it at Old Trafford, so that was impressive from them. Arsenal were too good for them, which kind of anticipated. Forest one was strange, and Forest played very, very well, remember? I mean, they're 4th, aren't they, as we record? So, it's always a difficult game, but yeah, Old Trafford to lose that one would have hurt them. Pleasant, they weren't great, but they got the result again. The Man City one was mental, because I thought Man City were controlled the football match, but they kept themselves in it. That's what they said. They kept themselves at 1-0, and you know what Man City are like at the moment, so you can hurt them. And all good teams beat Man City 2-1. And then obviously this week, very recently, they played Tottenham, which was a really weird game. I think Man U would be disappointed. Obviously Tottenham were like 3-0 up.
But they were handed a couple of goals, weren't they?
Yeah, well, Tottenham went, right, okay, we're 3-0 up, but let's just, we'll start up Spursy. Man, you get 2 goals. You think, here comes Spursy. But they still couldn't go over the line, which was shameful because it looked like there's only one team that's going to score here. And then it was a controversial one because it was scored from a corner.
Yeah, but...
And he looked like he was fouled. If there was VAR, because obviously there wasn't, I think, knowing how VAR works, they would have said there was an infringement.
He barely touched it.
I didn't think there was much in it, but I think, because it's on the keeper, I think they might have got that decision, then you never know. So, one of them. But, it was a weird game, but it showed what I thought of them. They can hurt teams, Man United, because they've got good quality, but they do look a little bit light at the back. Having said that, that goalkeeper won't play against us, and most of the defence won't play against us either. Yeah,
true. I was impressed by United's high press, though, because they did put the Spurs keeper... He should have done better. Forster should have done a lot better with that. However... that goal from Ahmad where he chucked his body at it as well. And then the ball that I think, Fernandes won it and then squared it back for it to be laid in the net. Yeah. I just think, United are going to press high, so we just need to be diligent in defence. And we can look at some stats later on that maybe demonstrate that a little bit more. For AFC Bournemouth, of course, if you're a Man United fan, not knowing our form, we have won 3 and drawn 1 in the last 4. The last one coming against West Ham that put us up to that 6th spot, as you saw earlier. So we're in a pretty good place. Are we in a good place against you head-to-head, though, United fans? Well...
Can't be.
No, we're not. But recently, it sort of turned a corner a little bit. We're looking at our head-to-head. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it on screen. If you're on the pod, just head over to YouTube. But in brief, our last one was 2-2, of course, at home. 3-0 win at Manchester United. But then you're going back a series of 3 losses. So a 5-2 loss, 3-0 loss, 1-0 loss. We did beat them 1-0 at home, though. Can't even remember who scored that, can you?
Josh King.
Josh King, was it?
Yeah, I think it was like a nice little volley. Did he
that's right.
It? And it was a good win, that. But then we had another few defeats, didn't we? But I remember drawing. I always remember this one. The draw away.
Sermon. Was that Sermon getting sent off?
Yeah, Ming's stamp on Ibrahimovic.
The nicest player in football getting sent off.
Yeah, I know. Unbelievable. And then Boruc saved penalty from Ibrahimovic. We drew 1-1 in that game. And we obviously had that first win when we were got into the Premier League. That was Van Gaal, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And that was Josh King again, wasn't it? And was that the Stanislas corner? Yeah. So that was a memorable day. So in recent times, since we've been a quite good football team, we've done all right against Man United. But obviously, historically, we've always been so much beneath Manchester United. So the form between two clubs is always going to favour them a little bit.
We did, of course, beat them in the FA Cup back in the 80s as well. But interesting you say that first win in the Premier League. Our winning goal came from a corner routine, and recently of late, Bournemouth have been producing many a corner that's creating chances. I mean, even against West Ham, Evan Nilsson's header, there are others, and some of our routines that we've done to score some goals, that's quite promising. So This is quite interesting. Give you a bit of optimism. Man United have conceded a higher share of their goals from corners than any other side in the Premier League this season, with 42%. That's 8 out of 19. Indeed, 4 of their 7 goals conceded under Amorim so far have come from corners. So, Tom, that must give you a fair bit of excitement, eh?
Yeah, no, that's not a bad little stat, mate. I think Andoni was kind of pressed on that a little bit in his press conference, and he did say that he's seen signs for them defensively that they're improving over the last month. But yeah, it's certainly something that we've tried to highlight a bit in it this season. I think we've noticed it, certainly from attacking corners. So yeah, I feel like if we can get a few corners now, we're going to be a little bit, oh, hello, here we go. And I never feel like Onana's that convincing and commanding.
And we did that last season, of course, as well.
Yeah,
Marcus Senesi.
Yeah, Senesi's was from a corner, as you say, and then that I said that win that we go all the way back to, they were both corners. Yeah. So yeah, we have obviously shown that we can do that against Man United. So let's see, might be Zabani's first goal of the season potentially.
Who's in, who's out? The team news is right here on screen. So for Man United, they played on the Thursday night, of course. Yeah. And in terms of the lineup that they put out, mate, what did you make of it? Because you sent me a text saying, hang on, they're
scared.
They're scared.
They did. Well, Amad Diallo's been their best player since Amorim's walked through the door, and he was rested. He obviously come on and scored still. Yeah. So yeah, that says a lot. I think it was more defensively. So it ended up with Lindelof playing, but coming off injured. Yeah. Which is obviously a blow for him. He's had his injury problems, so he come off. Young lad Yoro played as well, done all right actually, and Martinez, but he didn't play Maguire in that. Who Amorim's already said is probably his main man at the back. Maguire, and he didn't play in. Obviously rested Onana in goal. He kept the same sort of wing backs, but even in midfield, he didn't start Mainu. He put Eriksen in there. He played Anthony, who's obviously having a really tough time at Man United, so he's almost trying to give him a go. So yeah, they definitely didn't go full strength. They rested a few. Obviously they've had a few injuries. Shaw still out, as he always is. And Mason Mount got that injury not long ago, which he always seems to do. Mazraoui, I think, also come off with a knock, but it sounds like he's going to be okay. Yeah. But yeah, they still play some good stuff at times, but they did look, I don't know what the word is. They still looked a little bit disjointed, like they're trying to work out what this manager wants them to do. But I think the main thing I took from it was Amad Diallo not playing when he's been their best player means they're really looking at improving their Premier League. He's
he's of course scored the winner of the Manchester derby. 22 years old. I hadn't really heard much of him, but he's started 9 games and been sub 5 times. In his last 4 games, he scored 1 goal, as I spoke about, and also had 3 assists. The leading United player with 6 assists and scoring 2 goals is Bruno Fernandes as well. He'll, of course, be another one to
both goals
watch
in that 2-2 draw.
Yeah, exactly. What about AFC Bournemouth's injury crisis, or maybe not so much? What did Andoni say then, mate? What's happening?
He said there's no real change,
cheers, Andoni.
Which on one hand is good, because you don't want any more injuries, and we did say that Semenyo come off in our last game, so we were a little bit concerned, but that means Scott's still out, that means Sinisterra's still out, that means Tavernier's still out, that means Araujo's still out, that means Senesi's still out. So we have still got quite a lot of injuries, but it hasn't really been mentioned because we just keep winning football matches. But we have got some injuries. My only concern is if we'll go on to it in the team news, but obviously everyone else is fit, but playing a lot of games, when you've got injuries, you're going to have to look at rotation a little bit. So I wonder if he will. I'm not sure. We don't know how fit they all are behind the scenes, if anyone's carrying any niggles. But yeah, we've got some longer term ones out. I hope we can see Sinisterra sooner rather than later, because he's been out for a long time and it was never considered a real long term injury. So he's obviously had a bit of setback, but hopefully won't be too far away.
One of the players to watch for AFC Bournemouth is Ryan Christie. Who's Ryan Christie, you're probably asking? Well, you know what? It's one of the kind of underrated, maybe under-talked about players for AFC Bournemouth from outside of the 4 walls of Dean Court. And he was directly involved in 11 of Bournemouth's 29 shots against West Ham in our last game, having 6 shots himself with 5 chances. It was only the 3rd time a Cherries player had both 5+ shots and created 5+ chances in a Premier League after, get this, Jordan Ibe versus Brighton in January 2018, and also Josh King versus Chelsea in January 2019.
That's mad.
Madness. Referee, do you want to know who he is, Tom?
No.
Craig Pawson.
Okay.
He took 2 of our away games last season against Manchester City.
Yeah.
But also Crystal Palace as well.
Okay, I love that.
Right then, Tom, I've got a played for both.
Yes.
Right, and this one, I've had to go a bit extreme with this because there's one player in particular that I couldn't find a person that's played for both in a particular position. So, let's go through this, and I'm going to put it on the screen now. Their initials played for both. I mean, there are some that are going to be obvious.
Well, in my head, I thought there ain't a goalkeeper.
There's not, but there's someone that has played in goal because he had
I
to.
know what you've done because he's not a centre-back. Rio Ferdinand.
Correct. Well
I just
done.
realised what you've done.
He played in goal. I think it was an FA Cup fight against Pompey. Pompey ended up winning at Old Trafford, but technically he's played in goal for Man United. I don't think there's any other keeper. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Okay, in terms of the back four, this is tenuous in certain terms of some positions, but they have played there a couple of times, so go for it from right to left.
Right back's Ethan Laird.
Correct.
You've definitely got John O'Shea in there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work out who PT is.
He's a bit of an old boy from the 90s.
Teal, is it?
No.
Teal.
That's Sean Teal. Paul Tether.
I was thinking that. Paul Tether.
Yeah, Paul Tether.
Don't know what that means. CC.
Yeah, I would say you'd probably know him as a centre-back.
Oh, okay. You just shoved him out of there.
But he has played there a few times. You'd go white as a ghost if you got this one incorrect.
Casper.
Yeah.
Is it Chris Casper?
Chris Casper.
Yeah. Oh, God.
We're going to go a full 3-3 here. So we've got a midfield three. This is, I would say, three centre midfielders.
Okay,
here.
but that's Russell Beardsmore.
Yeah.
We've got MR and JR. Okay. I'm trying to think now. Are they my era?
One of them is on loan. Out on loan.
Bloody Joe Rothwell.
Yeah. He didn't play for the first team, did he? Or did he?
No, but you have forgot a player, by the way. I'll tell you about that.
Oh, yeah, I possibly have.
You have. MR.
This is 90s era. He started his career
I know
in
it
United.
is. Mark Rawlinson.
Yeah.
GB. Foster's.
Well, likes one of them, or liked.
Why did he like one of them? He likes a beer. George Best. Well done, I forgot about George. How did I forget about George Best?
Rest in peace, George, sorry.
Josh King and Temp Dougal.
Yes, correct.
I was just thinking when you said Rothwell, Ben Pearson.
Yes, so I was going to put him on there as well.
And was there anyone else?
There were others.
There's another striker. I had a different striker in my head.
Did you?
I can't believe I forgot it.
Well, that's in the comments, yeah. Put yours in the comments.
Imagine if you actually played, I'm trying to think of it, if you actually played that 11, because George Best was so good.
Yeah.
You feel like, would he do enough to mean Rio don't have to do much? But then I think, would John O'Shea be able to keep him out? Ethan Laird might get caught. It's an interesting one.
Thanks to Matt from Vitals, we've checked out the form of both sides. Takes a look at the last 4 games. So for Man United, these were 2 home games against Everton and Nottingham Forest, 2 away, Arsenal, Man City. Man United gained 6 points, which the XG suggests is fewer than expected, as they had the greatest XG in all their games, apart from the Arsenal one. The average positions you can see on screen if you're watching on YouTube for the last 4. Typically, the average position is actually quite deep, with 6 or more men in Manchester United's half, which isn't surprising when you're away at Arsenal Man City, but it was also the same in the comfortable victory against Everton at home. So that makes me wonder, what are we going to do with that? And AFC Bournemouth have many more goal attempts per game and many more big chances than United, although the goals scored are the same, as we've not been clinical. We've mentioned the word clinicality a few times. United have conceded less chances, but more big chances, and have conceded 1 more goal. XG is strongly in Bournemouth's favour, although XGC fairly similar. Also, to finish off, Man United have a higher possession percentage than AFCB and better pass completion. Chances from open play, they're pretty similar. Man United have a very low percentage of chances conceded from open play, suggesting that set pieces are a weakness for Manchester United. So if it's a free kick, stick Unal on it. If it's a corner, put Christie on it. Fine.
Get Unal on, mate. I mean, it's all about Turkey this time of year, isn't it? He's going to smash one in.
Right, let's see the predicted teams. Come on then. Okay, Tom, Man United then are in a 3-4-2-1 sort of formation, is it?
Yeah, he's definitely go with a 3, and obviously that's flexible, but that's how Amorim always plays. Another would definitely come back in goal. I'm not sure on the De Ligt situation, so because of that, I'm going to keep Yoro in because I thought he'd done okay. Maguire would definitely come back in, and Alessandro Martinez, kind of a left centre back. If Matsurary's fine, which I assume he will be, he'll be on the right side. As that kind of wing back role with Dallo on the left. Ugarte, I think will stay in, but Mainu, I think will come in. It could be Ericsson, but I think Mainu will come back in. Diallo, Amad Diallo definitely play. Bruno seems to be, even though he's always in that 10 role, he seems to definitely be going to that left side a bit more.
Yes,
so we've
he
got to
does,
keep an eye on that. And Højlund, I think, will keep his place. Even though Xerxes done well off the bench, I think Højlund's done all right, so I think he'll leave the line.
Kirkes versus Ahmad's going to be a really interesting battle,
Tasty,
isn't it?
yeah.
Oh, incredible. Right then, as for Bournemouth, I think we're going to be in our white and sort of purple and green speckled kit.
Okay.
Interested to see what you're doing here, mate?
Is that technically our third kit?
I think it...
Is that our third or is that
No,
the
that's
second?
our away. The third kit's the green one, I think.
Yeah, but we go to Old Trafford and win in the third kit, so we'll move on. Kepa in goal, 100%. I'm going to stick with Smithy at right back. This is one of them players that I've said it before, and he keeps playing him, but surely at some stage we're going to rest. What he seems to be doing is
3
taking
games
him
over
off.
the course of a week, right?
Yeah, he seems to be taking him off, doesn't he, earlier? It wouldn't surprise me. I'm going to stick with him, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's rotated. Not necessarily for Aarons, could be.
Oh.
Not necessarily for Hill, even though it could be.
What, Lewis Cook?
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me.
What, from the start?
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me, an Adams play. But I'm going to stick with Smith for now. But maybe, I think, this game or Boxing Day, you might see Smithy come out. Zabani and Howson will continue with the centre-halves for sure, and Kirkes left back. I'm going to stick with Cook and Christie for now. Clive, I'm going to put to a wide position. Obviously, Tav's
Cliver is on the wing.
Yeah, he actually will be, I believe. Semenyo will play on the other side, and I'm going to put Philip Billing in the centre in that number 10 role. He's done well off the bench recently, and it could be a start for him, I think. I think he'll look to rotate some players. We've obviously got some injuries in them areas, so I'm going to go with Billing, and then Evan Nilsson to start off. That's another position, though. Wouldn't shock me if Unai started, because Evan Nilsson hasn't had too much rest either, but stick with my gut for now.
By the way, can I tell you a big secret about Justin Cliver?
Go on.
Maybe a few others as well. So AFC Bournemouth do this thing every year, which is amazing, where they go to Poole Hospital.
Yes.
And they see children that are in hospital and they give them presents and stuff, which I think is a really nice touch that they do. Anyway, my partner Lucy works at Bournemouth Hospital. Cliver's her favourite player. So she went up to him and was trying to ask a few questions. "Do you watch Back of the Net?" she says. You know what he said?
What?
No one's... we don't expect you to. However...
I might take Justin out.
Yeah, should we put maybe...
Dango watches.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, Dango
Get
watches.
Dango in. To be fair, I just thought about that then when you were talking about all the stats and stuff, because obviously I've done this predictive scene before. Could Dango be, even though I think he'll be involved in the game, whether that's off the bench or not, talking about these set pieces, he is one of our best in the air.
Yeah.
Just a little thought I had, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate that, but Dango could be a weapon, whether it's start or off the bench, because of that aerial presence, and that might be why he may go now, because he's better in the air. I don't know, but I think with this festive period, it's always harder to predict anyway.
Well, speaking of predictions, where's your head at then, mate? Because, firstly, where's your head at? Let us know in the comments.
Is that
We'd
based
love
on
to-
Jack's?
Yeah. Where's your head at? Look, I'm going to tell you another little secret. Tom was feeling a little bit confident off air. Confident.
Like I was last year, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah.
Last year, I was getting absolutely ridiculed by saying we will beat Man United at Old Trafford.
I think
We did.
if things should go how they should go based on everything, we should win, or we shouldn't lose.
Yeah.
But there's always there's the sort of newish manager factor. Maybe we'll have an off day.
You're still always going to have that thing in your head, at least for a while still, that we're Bournemouth going to Manchester United. I appreciate that. But yeah, in my opinion, I think we're better than them. And I think we'll beat them. I think it all depends, as done.
We'll beat them.
Yeah, I think we'll beat them. I wouldn't take a draw. I think the way it's gone all season for us, and West Ham in our most recent game was another example of that, is that we do always create chances, we're just not putting them in. So obviously that's what's always going to be dependent. But I think we'll catch them a lot. I think they'll have chances as well, because even sure against Tottenham, they will get chances. We'll play quite high. So I think it should be a game of goals. It should be quite an exciting one, to be honest. But I can't go against it now, mate. I've said that I think this is the one over that Christmas period, them 3 games, this is the one we'll win. And I do think that.
Okay.
I'm going Manchester United 2, Bournemouth 3.
I'm going for 2-all.
Go on.
That's what I'm going for. So yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, come on. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, what was it?
Oh, he always interrupts the show. Is it all right?
3-1 Bournemouth.
Tell you what,
Father Christmas himself.
Would that be an improvement for Man United, by the way? 3-0
I
last
think
year.
it
That would
would
be a progression, small steps.
Progression. Look, looking forward to seeing you up in Manchester for this one. Hopefully it'll be a good one. Have a safe trip up. Until then, up the cherries. Come on.
No, what was that with the Santa?
I don't know.
I think it's so funny, don't you?
I think I'm funny.
You've got from Gary Lineker to talking to Santa.
You did get
last
3-1
two
then.
shows.